Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Masada podcast with the 24-hour ADs, the Big Bedford Buck, and myself, Matt Trahan. Keith, awesome to be back with you. Super excited to talk about all the things we have going on. How's everything?
Listen, things are great. I know, we're right in tournament season, winding down the winter season, getting ready for the spring season, getting ready for our conference. I know. Old OC had quite a big weekend in the state vocational tournament and a couple big wins. I was following along on the old Twitterverse, or excuse me, the old Xverse, I guess would be the appropriate thing now. And then,
love it.
We're over here in Bedford. We had a tough loss last night in girls ice hockey, and we host Marlboro tonight in boys hockey, and got a double header for basketball tomorrow night here in Bedford. So
keeping yourself busy.
We're busy, as you know.
You reach that 40 mark ish, and all of a sudden, I don't know. My body's screaming for a nap. I don't know when I'm going to get one, but. With all the film and all the preparation and whatnot, it's a good feeling. But man, I'll tell you, I'm like this.
Yeah,
just trying to keep them open.
Right. That's funny. So imagine when you hit that 50-ish mark that I just did, and it only gets it's only easier then.
No, you're full of it, because I'm going to say it's only downhill from there.
Right. Absolutely.
But you talked about it. I'll tell you, it's when you got a great group of kids, and I'm sure that you've seen plenty of them come through your school. It makes life so much better. I mean, the wins are great, but I think the relationships and working with the kids and seeing them start at, A and somewhere get in the middle of the alphabet is a wonderful thing. And the tournament's been great. The vocational piece was awesome. I mean, we play, Keith, in a very small gym.
Yep.
Can seat about, let's say, maybe 500 on a good day.
Okay.
And it was wall-to-wall people.
Nice.
Wall-to-wall people.
Nice.
First round, the prelim round too, we played Notre Dame Cristo Rey, and our side was packed.
Yep.
To the gills. So it's it's nice to have a group come out and everybody's there to support and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it's been fun.
Yep.
We're off to Springfield. We're going to be playing JJ Duggan on Friday. So
yeah,
it's busy.
Yeah. No, I hear you. And my gym's not very big either. We host. We can put about 600 people in my gym. We'll also live stream as well for folks don't want to come out. I've never done a doubleheader tournament game before. Trying to figure out what that appropriate time is to have for our girls will play at 5:30 against Leominster, and then the boys are going to play 7:30 against Grafton.
Right.
So the thought is, as you can imagine, once the girls game ends, keep everyone off the floor. We'll come in, we'll wash the floor down. And then we have a smaller back gym. We'll let teams warm up for, give our boys a half an hour, then the Grafton boys a half an hour to warm up.
That's awesome. To have a
back there and then come into the big gym. So,
nice.
But yeah, it's we're rocking and rolling tonight. As I said, we got boys ice hockey. We'll host a Marlboro. Jeff Rosinski coming into town. Who's always a big supporter of Masada, and especially down the Cape, and coming down and giving of his time to help out. And then right from there, I'll be jumping in my car and obeying all proper speed laws, heading to Breakaway Ice Center, where Tewksbury, my son is a senior for Tewksbury, hosting the Agawam Brownies from out in Western Mass. So
nice.
There was a chance Agawam did beat Minnechaug in overtime the other night. So there was a chance we're going to be able to spend some time with Mike Roy tonight. But unfortunately, his son's team lost in overtime. But this is a tough time too. Like those of us who are parents and stuff as well, and trying to get out to see our kids play.
Oh yeah.
Now we're looking at my son is, on the downward stretch here as far as his high school playing days. So it's it's exciting and emotional and at the same time. So you never know what can happen at any given night. So we'll see.
You talk about your own kids, and I'll bring up mine. I love the fact that they're all in.
Yep.
I had my family's at the game, and I got my son. I'm going to the game. I said, how are you going to the game? He goes, well, you got to pick me up from school early so I can get on your bus. So they're all in, and one of them does the handshakes and whatnot. It's a great way to spend time with your kids. The sport of basketball, any sport really for that matter. But
well, listen, I saw the old Colony roster the other day, and I saw a matching name as one of the special assistants.
Yeah, you did.
Your son's helping out.
Yeah, I surprised them. We put them on the roster.
Yeah, well, you have like a 1-to-1 ratio of coaches to players anyway, which is pretty impressive as well.
I do. As a matter of fact, they really acted. You've seen Goldberg come out. You know what I mean. So I need insulation. I need insulation.
Yeah.
You know how it is. But more importantly, listen, I gotta give it, and I gotta give it now because I always do this. I get caught up in the moment. I get excited to see that beautiful face, folks. The fundraising piece, Masada is so blessed, to have Gold Athletics in our corner. They are second to none. Don't take our word for it. I take anybody's word that's worked with Gold Athletics. They are beyond amazing, and they will meet all of your fundraising needs. Gold Athletics. Keith, why wait any longer? Let's bring on the guy who he makes it look easy. Okay, I know he's got a million things going on.
Matt, and I don't know if you put out there on the post of who our special guest was tonight.
I didn't.
So
I did not.
Tell you, I was pretty lucky to see this person in action. Not only over the weekend, getting ready for with the tournament as he serves as a tournament director, but my girls' ice hockey co-op with Shawsheen went head down there to Pilgrim Palace down in Hingham last night for a big tilt against Hingham girls ice hockey. And what an outstanding performance. The team did amazing. But why don't we bring them in right now? I'm sure everyone knows by now, but
say it all the time. You surround yourself with the best. That we are bringing on the best. Jim Quattromoni is in the house.
There he is. There he is. Last night he was all done up with a stocking hat. Definitely not a hockey guy, I would say.
No,
I know he's a basketball guy, but
Keith, I'm a basketball guy and I want to be warm.
Yes, yeah, I hear you. Well, listen, I was just starting to tell Matt about our great experience down there, and congrats to your team, Coach, class act, players, outstanding sportsmanship, and obviously a little bit too much for our team to handle. And best of luck to your team in the tournament. But what I haven't told Matt yet is something that I haven't seen of all the rinks that I've been to, of my son's playing days. I stopped in, I always like to judge a rink based on, if they have a snack bar or not, like Skate 3 up in Tingsboro, best French fries around. Some have nothing, maybe vending machines, whatever. But something I noticed at Pilgrim in the fall when my son played for the Rangers in the fall, and then noticed again last night, nothing says like this is a true hockey experience than a snack shack that sells Spam in their snack shack, which is amazing.
Wow.
Is amazing.
I got to tell you, you said that to me a while back, and I thought you were messing with me. And early this year, I went into the snack shack looking around for something, and I could not believe when it was there.
Yeah,
so
right.
I can confirm that they do.
It's full service. It's full service. A lot of it serve yourself. You can get grab a mac and cheese cup or something like that. The folks working there, great attitude. I actually asked the girl, I'm like, well, how often does the Spam go? And she's like, not that often, but I'm surprised. That was a big staple when we used to go camping in the Mangan house when I was many, many moons ago.
You got to stay that universal key, though. You need that universal key because if stuff goes down, you're good.
Absolutely. So Jim, welcome to the show here. I don't want to steal Matt's thunder here. Very excited. I know you've been very busy. So talk a little bit about, share us a little bit of experience. We know how things have gone a little bit for you if you followed along on Twitter as the basketball tournament director, but also as our first VP and planning out the conference for us. If you take a couple minutes to kind of share some stuff with us.
Sure. So first with the conference, I think by the end of the week, we'll have all our descriptions and speakers and moderators set up so we can get the conference booklet out for print and get it in front of people to start planning what they're going to do when we get together down on the Cape. I think we've got some good speakers covering a lot of different topics. I think we've streamlined it down a little bit here so that we don't have so many options per session. So hopefully we can fill these rooms a little bit more than maybe we have in years past. But I think it's a good series of speakers and topics. And I'm hopeful that some of these sessions actually will produce kind of some brainstorming sessions that allow maybe for decision makers to have sets of ideas to consider on how how we're running tournaments, how we're running regular seasons and rating and things like that.
Love that.
In terms of the basketball tournament, this is year 3 with Jim Clark is in his second year with our team, and certainly, a very valuable addition to the group in terms of, the organization that he brings and his ability to get us ratings and create the brackets and as quickly as he can, as we then create the brackets that people can view.
Yeah.
But it's for the most part the third year of this team being together, and I think we've got a pretty good group together. I think people have gotten used to maybe me over emailing, and
that's good communication, Jim. You've hit that home run more than once.
Appreciate that, yeah, and then just recognizing that when we contact you about missing scores or TBAs or duplicates, that you try to get in there and get that taken care of in a timely fashion, so that the brackets that are periodically produced are as accurate as they can be. That's always a concern when there's bad data in there. It's a bad rating. So you want to keep that going. So Ron Ford, Dave Keir, and then Peter Smith in the office have been great in just working together to make sure that we get everything covered. When we got into that last 2 or 3 days, we were no longer chasing scores. We had every single score in the state on both sides in, and we were just going after TBAs, just to make sure that a TBA was not actually a slot that a game needed to be replaced, but that a game had been scheduled in over it.
Yeah. Well, and Jim, we talked about this a little bit last night while we were at the game, and we've talked about regularly about how important it is for athletic directors, right, to get those scores in, whether it's a win or a loss. Nothing wrong with both ADs going on and putting that score in, making sure all that stuff is in and that data is in. And I shared a little story last night about how I had accidentally at one point last year put the flip-flop the score. So it actually gave us one more loss at one point last year, and people right away were like, hey, shouldn't our record be this? And it's not that, it's okay that we have other people check our work and stuff like that, have our coaches get used to checking that. Every Thursday at 11 and every Friday at 11 going on and checking, making sure that stuff is up to date, and getting everyone involved in the process to make sure we have all that information, how important it is. Partly also so you all can do your job. But as we know, all coaches, both, Matt's a current coach, you're a former coach, and, in every sport, being able to start planning out as much as you can, being able to get out and watch some film and stuff like that. And our time is get pulled in so many different directions. We want to be able to, when we have a few minutes to spend some time doing that stuff, it's so important to not only help our kids out, but also to help each other out as colleagues to make sure all that stuff gets in.
Absolutely. Sure. I think it's got to be high on the priority list, right? Yep. Because you're not sending out emails for your health. You're sending out emails because you need the information, and certainly you want to run a great tournament, which you have. So it's nice to know that all the scores were there, and hopefully those TBAs were all taken care of.
Yeah, it by far was the best year, and I think you talk about others viewing the Arbor Live, and coaches in partnership with their ADs, making sure that the information is accurate. I think it's starting to become part of the norm, part of the minimum standard that we have to achieve in fairness to all that are participating. A game played in a Division V school on the Friday before February vacation could have a significant impact on 2 Division I teams.
Yep.
It's so in fairness to all that are participating, it really is upon us to make sure that information is timely and accurate.
Absolutely.
Well, I was complaining before about needing to take a nap, Jim. Have you slept? You're doing a ton of stuff, and it's all kind of coming down in March. So, talk a little bit about that. I don't know how you manage your time, but.
So it starts, thankfully, with the timing with February vacation. So I just don't get a February vacation, more or less.
Yeah.
But there's also some efficiencies that I think we've been able to identify to not be going to sleep at 2 a.m. This year made the change of really pushing around to 32 teams that were waiting for prelim feeders to establish a schedule with the 2 potential opponents beforehand, where that was a lot of what I was chasing in the middle of the night last year. And I probably shouldn't be surprised that some of us aren't staying up till 1 waiting to answer one of my texts. But it's these last two nights have been a little bit better. And I think tonight, when you look at the brackets right now, we have a schedule in place for every single round of 32 game, whether it's waiting for one more or not, which there is one more a prelim that we had extended for the D2 situations. So the all tickets to 32 will be punched tonight, and there's a host of 32 games being played tonight, of course.
Nice.
Yeah, I got to tell you that it's crazy so far. We were while we were watching the hockey game last night and following along on Twitter as best we could, and the amount of different games that were dropping it right at once. Some wins, and not only in basketball but in ice hockey as well that were expected, and some upsets, big upsets last night as well, and the night before, which was amazing, exciting at the same time, and it's regardless whether you're the 32 team or lower, if it's a prelim game or all the way up to one, anything can happen in this time. And that's what makes it so exciting for the kids. And unfortunately, most teams are going to end their seasons with a way that they weren't planning on or weren't hoping for, but what an exciting time. And if you like following along and love following along with high school sports, it's just constant.
32, excitement. The 32 seemingly every year provides some sort of surprise and excitement, and I was enjoying, even though I couldn't keep up with you. My mind's so full of these 10 brackets, and you're yelling stuff out at me last night, like this one won, and I'm trying to think about our brackets. But the Twitter really does make it even a little more exciting, whether you're at a game and just looking down at your phone, or if you're just at home trying to follow along a couple different sites. It really is. The days of waking up early that next morning and grabbing the Boston Herald in a convenience store parking lot and scanning scores are long over.
Right. Well, and Jim, in fairness, my attention issues were running high last night, so it wasn't just basketball; it was also hockey as well. So, in fairness, that can be an issue from time to time. So it was great when you all of a sudden like, wait, we on basketball now? We back to hockey, and I was bouncing back and forth left and right, trying to keep you on your toes.
I just try to keep up with you, Keith. I feel like I got energy, but you're just like shot out of a cannon sometimes.
Yeah, sure. Right.
This is the time of the year though that I do love though. As a coach, you play 2-3 games a week, and it's you're trying to massage the situation and get ready for what's up next. What's nice about having a couple of days is you're catching up some film, you're installing a game plan, you're getting together with the kids. It's tournament time's fun. Like it's stressful, but it's fun. And I think more people need to look at it that way, that, hey, you know what? You got that far, have fun with it, and, give it your all.
Yeah. Well, imagine if not just tournament time, but all along that it's, you work hard, you get out to that game, you play that game, and then, you win, great, lose, too bad. And evaluate what happened and what we can do to make ourselves better. And we just move on to the next one.
100%.
There's so much of that outside drama that gets pulled in, which makes, our job as whether it be athletic directors or coaches or whatever, and makes it harder at times. But we want for our kids to have the best possible experience, win or lose.
Absolutely.
And as I said before, it's sadly most people are gonna finish with a loss for that last game. Very few are gonna win that big, get the opportunity to win that big game. So it's we talk all the time. We've had these conversations and stuff like that about trying to provide as great of experience as we can. And teach our kids those lessons, for when they move on and head out, once they graduate or move on from our programs.
I'm big on celebrating the experience too. You know what I mean? Like the hard work that you put in, win, lose, or draw, like you said, Keith. I mean, at the end of the day, there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to end in a loss. So when you celebrate the experience, hey, we won big games. Hey, you guys hit a buzzer beater, or whatever it was. You can highlight those things and say, you put your best foot forward. And not everybody can say that. So it's nice that you can turn around and you say, hey, listen, you had this experience. It was wonderful. And hopefully, you as the coach and the player, they enjoyed themselves.
Yeah. Listen, and big excitement today. I don't know if you're following along with anything today. I saw TMC made a big change for lacrosse. The margin of victory, which I think different people feel differently, as we've seen with this new system. I myself, I'm a huge fan of the statewide playoff system. I know there's, with anything, there's ways to massage things and look at things and make some tweaks here and there. But I thought that was a worthy change to change that margin of victory, which was, I think, very high at one point, and now drop that back down to I think a more appropriate number. So for those people who haven't seen that, it was at 10, right? And it's dropped down, and it'll be now at 7 for this season for boys and girls with lacrosse, which I think is more appropriate.
You have to wonder if you're going to see that in other sports as well, dropping it down. I know that there was a conversation and a vote that took place in regard to basketball a couple of years ago. And I think that's still being looked at. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. And not necessarily even dropping it down, or maybe raising it in some situations. I know we've had conversations around football, some other sports, and, hockey's only 3. For me, I'd rather probably see hockey at more like a 5. Because there are so many things at 3 that you might change, and do you coach differently based on what that goal differential is? Some people do, some people don't. We had a game here for Bedford that in overtime, playing for a league championship, the opposing coach pulled the goalie in a tie game in overtime, and it worked out well for them. They ended up scoring with an extra man on the ice, and but wasn't even a man down situation is where you normally see the goalie pull. There's a very worked out great for them, and probably would have been disastrous if it hadn't. But trying to do all those different things and be current and challenge your kids and for all those situations, which is all those important lessons, as we said.
Got to be prepared for anything.
Yep.
Jim, I'm a huge fan of Pete Smith. I love Pete for a long, long time. And obviously, you're working closely with him. Talk about that relationship and what that's like to, to run the tournament and have him alongside with you. He's
tremendous. I mean, he's a true partner in this. I mean, I think if, in terms of function, you'd almost want to call him a co-director. I mean, we're when we get into this time of the year, it's pretty much nonstop communication, just making sure that everything's covered. This morning we had a conversation about the Go fan sheet to make sure that we've got all the links made, and then starting to talk about capacity size as we get into 16, of needing to stay with the format and what your capacity is in your gym. And it's both. I'm calling him. He had been thinking about it, and we start going back and forth here. So it really is great to have a team, and he is a great liaison for us, and I think for the student athletes that are participating in this basketball tournament, he's just tireless. And I think we, as athletic directors, are accustomed to just working until it's done. Whatever we need to get done gets done, and we're not really bound by a clock, which isn't always the best thing. But he fits right into that mold of let's do what we have to do until the work's done.
Yep, that's Pete in a nutshell. He's a great dude, great guy.
Absolutely.
So, Jim, on that note, what are your expectations moving forward? I know it's it's going to be hot and heavy for the next couple of weeks. I'm sure you're out and about here, there, and everywhere. What do you expect to see moving forward?
I just hope we see some exciting basketball. I think Keith was talking about the experience of the student athlete. That I hope that kids are win or lose are having a great experience. That we're, I hope that our fan sections, whether student or adult, can recognize that they've probably never influenced the referee's decision and can, behave appropriately, and that we don't have incident in that regard. And then we can just, really embrace competition and get to Saugus. I think we've got a good lineup of potential sites for our round of 4 that will, some really good facilities, some college facilities, and then we'll look at the matchups and the geography and try to find the best spot for these games to get played. And then when we get to those 3 days in Saugus, I'm looking forward to some great games and to crown some champions, which is really that's kind of the culmination for our team, and I know for all that enjoy high school basketball. It's a really the Saugus staff is tremendous. They take care of so much for us, and the physical structure of the facility with the hockey boards allows really great control of what's going on the floor. So, we'll get a second team over there to make it as smooth for the teams as they arrive, so they know where they're going. They know they have a contact person to deal with them, and just to have a really good experience in a game that they'll, again, win or lose, are going to remember for the rest of their lives.
Right. Well said. That's
right.
Use that line. You'll remember this for the rest of your lives, and it's true.
Absolutely. Yeah,
it really is true.
No,
so,
absolutely.
Switching gears back a little bit before we let you go, Jim. I know you're a busy guy at this point in time. Back to the conference. I always look forward to the conference. We've been to the National together. Fantastic venue each and every year, but I love the things that we're trying to accomplish over the course of the last number of years. I know that you've been hard at work, taking care of all of the PD and whatnot. What do you consider some of your favorite things about the AD's conference down in Hyannis?
I've said this more than a few times, and I guess I would hope that young ADs are watching this right now. I think the best professional development that I experienced as I worked my way up I'm in my 18th year working as an athletic director now. It literally is in the suites, in district suites, sitting and just having kind of casual time with colleagues, people from other leagues, people from, bigger schools, smaller schools. And in the beginning, it was a lot of listening with eyes wide open and oh boy, I'm way behind here. Oh, wow, he's doing that or she's doing that. And then as time passed, realizing a little bit that, wow, okay, I'm doing all right. All right, okay. And then maybe feeling comfortable enough to start to talk and share some of my own ideas, and having that kind of back and forth where somebody might have a good idea to add to your idea. I don't think I ever would have landed where I am today in terms of, being at Hingham High School as having started at Hull High School, being on some of the committees that I'm fortunate enough to serve on, including the board of directors, and then, running this tournament. I don't think I ever would have gotten here without colleagues, either helping redirect me to say, no, you've got that wrong, maybe do it this way, or just kind of reinforcing that some of the things I might have figured out. And I think it really, it solidified for me to always be there, because whether it be, again, I'm 18 years, I'm still stealing from people, but also to try to help the younger folks that are trying to break into this on what was done for me. So whether I'm stealing or helping, I think we all owe it to each other to be there, to help each other through this job, because there's a whole lot of fun. There's a whole lot of it that we really love, but sometimes we need each other to get through those rough days. And that's a great place to be able to develop those relationships and contacts. Yeah.
Well, and you hit the nail on the head right there, Jim, right? It's just because it's your first year, it doesn't mean it gets easier as it goes on. Sometimes it might get harder as it goes on, and you have changing groups and stuff like that. Getting an opportunity to let our hair down. Obviously, the three of us can't do it as much. Obviously, me a lot less. But just being able to really just kind of get to know not only the people in our district, and we always encourage people to get out around, and it's, being involved in our executive board. There are people around the state I probably would have never met and gone out. And, when we got involved, pointing and right there, Matt, that just getting out and going around to the different suites and popping in and saying hello and stuff like that, and introducing yourself. It's very, very important. Along those lines as well, I know if we have any new ADs on here, I know an email went out yesterday. Tom Holgate and Pete Serino are going to be having Mike Denise on, who's our conference coordinator, next Wednesday, doing a Zoom call, talking more some nuts and bolts, and hopefully going through the schedule after we meet on Monday with them. And I'm very excited. Travis Doherty is going to be down speaking as our keynote speaker of Champions 101 in his program on sports leadership, and should be great. Seen a lot of stuff over the years in social media and stuff from him, so looking forward to seeing him in the flesh, sort of thing. But over the years, we're doing our podcasting, and we having the guys with the off-duty ADs forever ago, Mark Rarick and those folks. We had Mark come out at one point. Now every year at national, and sometimes in between, we've emailed back and forth and gone into chat and talk about some different things. Obviously, life in North Dakota is a little different than life in Bedford, Mass. But those relationships we've talked about, how important they are, to be able to bounce stuff off each other, to learn from each other, to share those experiences, because no one else does what we do in our school system, right? So it's so important to be able to have those opportunities. Although my wife will tease me about, she asked me last night, am I looking forward to my vacation the end of March? And I said, listen, it's all about learning for me. She goes, well, you learned a lot in Orlando. And I said, listen, you know what I learned a lot in Orlando? About how our man Carlos came through.
I was just going to say, we got a special hello and a special thanks for our friend Carlito.
Yes, absolutely. and getting to meet those people, not only in Massachusetts, but across. Let me tell you, are you looking for your button?
I was looking for my button. I can't find
there you go. Oh, man. And it's like getting to meet all those other people. We did our podcast down there, and we had folks from Philadelphia, right outside Pittsburgh, sitting right next to us. And, those are all great relationships and those great opportunities to meet people.
Absolutely. You couldn't say it any better. Jim, we want to thank you for joining us. I know that you're busy and you're doing one heck of a job. We appreciate you and everything that you're doing. Certainly as the incoming president and obviously the tournament directors, awesome job. Look forward to seeing everybody on Monday. We thank everybody for joining us. And by the way, folks, Gold Athletics, if you're looking for a fundraising company to meet your needs, look no further. Gold Athletics is the premium fundraising company that will meet all of your needs. Don't just take our word for it. Ask anyone who uses Gold Athletics. Gold Athletics, the only way to fundraise. Thanks, guys.
Take care.